Hello my dear students, I welcome you to NEET World. So today we are going to start the general organic chemistry. I hope you are already aware how much important this particular topic for your exam point of view. Okay, so even if you are preparing for JEE, NEET or EAP set, this topic will be everywhere. Highly weighted topic for all your competitive exams, right? And if you are aware of this particular topic, so you are going to have a great learning experience of your remaining chemical like organic chemistry part, right? Okay, so let us start this particular topic. So here just let us begin this with very basic. So first of all, we know organic chemical reactions are represented something like this. So reactants, it will be represented like reactants converting into something like products plus some byproducts, right? So here I already mentioned here. Okay, so during this transformation, so we may expect something called intermediate in between, right? So during the course of reaction from reactant to a product, so we may expect something called intermediate in between. So during this transformation, so in order to faster this reaction, to enhance the rate of a reaction, we may also use something called catalyst. Okay, so what we will use? Catalyst. And some reactions will be favored only at particular temperature and pressure conditions also. It means we may also mention some specific temperature and pressure conditions, or even some specific frequency, something like UV light may be also used in some organic reactions. So we are going to look about these things later. First of all, let us get some clarity what exactly reactants and how they will be combining to form products. Okay, so let us start here. Okay, so here I am writing reactants here. So what exactly reactants includes here? So reactant includes something called substrate, and this substrate will provide a reactive site. Therefore we have one more thing called reagent, attacking reagent. So this particular reagent will attack on this substrate at the reactive site. Therefore we may get some new bond formation between attacking reagent and the substrate. So what we have seen here, the reagent will attack on the substrate, therefore a new bond formation takes place between the substrate and the reagent. So during this conversion, so whatever the old bond already present in that particular substrate may breaks, right? Therefore we may get something called intermediate in this process. Intermediate. Okay, so intermediate. Sometimes we may also get something called transition state. So what is that? Intermediate or transition state, and finally gives the products or some byproducts. So we are going to get a complete reaction like this. Okay, so here, so what exactly substrate I told you? Substrate is a reacting species which provides reactive site, and the reagent will attack on that particular reactive site. Therefore a new bond formation takes place which results to form something called intermediate over here, or a transition state. Finally that will converts into product. Okay, so now let us look. So what I told you, some bond breakage takes place for the substrate and some bond formation with the reagent. How this bond breakage takes place for the substrate, we are going to look here. Okay, so how this bond breakage takes place? So it may be takes place into two equal halves or maybe two unequal halves. So before going to that, see, a new bond formation takes place, we discussed, or an old bond may be get disconnected, right? So complete description of this transformation from reactant to product is provided under reaction mechanism. So how much energy is like lost or gained during this transformation is also studied under reaction mechanism, and how much time is taken by that particular transformation, and the slowest step is considered as rate determining step. So all these things comes under reaction mechanism part. So now let us start how this bond breakage takes place here. So here, for example, we have something reactant here converting into product. Okay, so for this reactant, let us say some bond RX bond is there, like carbon and halogen bond is there. So now due to their electronegativity difference, see, we know halogens will be having more electronegativity than this carbon. Therefore what happens, the bonded electrons, we know in each bond there will be pair of electrons. So that pair of electrons are polarized or dragging or pulled towards the more electronegative atom. So which is more electronegative atom here? Halogens like chlorine, fluorine, bromine, iodine, like that. So what happens? The bonded electrons are taken by that. Therefore we are getting the carbon with some positive charge on it and halogen with a negative charge. See here, the bonded electrons are completely taken by one atom. Therefore we can say the bond breakage is heterolytic. It means that broken into unsymmetrical fashion, right? It means it is the two electrons are taken only by one particular like atom. Therefore I can say it is heterolytic cleavage. So after this heterolytic cleavage, the carbon with positive charge, we can call it as cation. What we can call? Cation. And the species with the negative charge should be called it as anion. So what we should call with the negative charge? Anion. Now if it is particularly specifically, if I say carbon only, we can say carbocation. Okay, if here the carbon is getting negative charge, if we say, that should be called as carbon anion. Okay, we are going to discuss those things in the upcoming slides. Okay, so sometimes what happens, so between this bond, if this bond due to some reasons, if it is breaking into two equal halves. So for example, here we have one electron in this bond and here also we have one more electron. So due to some reasons, if it is breaking into two equal halves, so two equal halves means what? So two equal halves means what? So into like this. So the whatever the electrons are there, that will be taken symmetrically. One electron for this carbon and another electron for this halogen. Therefore we are going to get something like this, right? So this species is called as free radicals. What we should call? Free radicals. Okay, so these are cation, anion, and these are free radicals. So we need to study what exactly these things in the upcoming slides also. Now if you observe here, if the two electrons are moving towards one atom, so I have indicated the arrow mark with double head, like full headed arrow. Okay, even when it comes to only one electrons are moving, so I have used only single head arrow like this, so which we can also say like a fish hook arrow. Okay, so that will be used when only one electron is transformed, okay, or transferred. Okay, I hope this is clear. Okay, so this kind of cleavage is called homolytic cleavage, and if it is breaking unsymmetrically, so we can say it is heterolytic cleavage. Heterolytic cleavage. So homolytic and heterolytic means unsymmetrical, breakage of bond in unsymmetrical fashion. Homolytic means symmetrically, breakage of bond very symmetrically. It means two equal halves. Then free radicals will be obtained. Okay, like if it is breaking unsymmetrically, then ions respect to cation, anion will be resulting in that particular process. I hope this is very clear. Okay, then next we will be going to discuss about see. So during the process what we see, so if there is some reactant like this, so due to some reasons, I mean if this is a substrate, let us say some attacking reagent is there, so that attacking reagent, let us say A is our attacking reagent, so this will come and attack on the substrate, right? So during this process what we are going to see first, before attacking this, some bond breakage takes place in the substrate. Let us say this RX bond is breaking like this. So what is the resulting species? If the bond breakage is heterolytic, what I am saying, if the bond breakage is heterolytic, and if the bonded electrons are moving, are taken only by this halogen, because of, let us say X is a halogen and the bonded electrons are taken by this atom. So what is the resulting species? So we may expect, see, the two electrons are taken by X, therefore R will be getting some positive charge, right? Okay, so if this R is any alkyl group, let us say methyl group or something like this. So if it is methyl group, so now we have to represent positive charge on the carbon. Now you have to call this as carbocation or methyl cation. So this R place is called as carbocation, and specifically if I ask this name, this should be called as methyl cation. What we should call? Methyl carbocation. Okay, similarly if it is, see, now let us consider if carbon is having, like R group is having more electronegativity, and this X, now you can consider this is not halogen, some other species, for our understanding I am saying. So now what happens? The bonded electrons are moving towards which side? So bonded electrons are taken by more electronegative atom. Let us say carbon is more here. So that electrons are polarized towards R. So therefore we may expect to get something like R minus here. Now you should call it as carbene anion. Carbene anion. So now one example, the simplest example we can write CH3 minus. Okay, so you should call this as methyl carbene ion. Okay, so one more thing also possibility is there. So we just now seen heterolytic cleavage only. Now if due to some reasons the bond breakage is taking homolytically, it means breaking takes place in a symmetrical fashion. These are obtained when the bond breakage is unsymmetrical. Now let us consider the bond breakage is symmetrical. So this is getting when it is unsymmetrical breakage. Okay, if the bond breakage is symmetrical, what happens? The bond breakage is symmetrical means you are going to get R with X with one electron and also R with one electron. Therefore we are going to get R dot plus X dot. So if R group is some carbon like methyl or anything, so we should call it as methyl radical. So here R group, whatever the radicals formed here, so these are called free radicals. What we should call? Free radicals. Now if the R group is some methyl group, so on the carbon you are going to get one dot. So that dot represent one unpaired electron. So we should going to call this as methyl free radical. I hope whatever we discussed till now, that is very clear to you. So what are the intermediates we got here? So one is carbocation, another one is free carbene anion, another one is free radical. So these three are highly important as of your syllabus is concerned. Okay, so now we have two more things. One is carbene, another one is nitrene. So we are going to discuss about these things also in the upcoming slides. Okay, so here what I told you, the first one is carbocation. How this carbocation is formed? By heterolytic cleavage, right? When the bond breakage is heterolytically, if the carbon is having low electronegativity, so then carbon is going to get a positive charge by losing its electrons. So now let us say, so there are three bonds around the carbon like this, and one side it is having some halogen. So now, so here let us say this electronegativity, let us write here electronegativity of like whatever the atom, like X is there, whatever the X here I am representing. So X is more than electronegativity of carbon. So what happens? The bond breakage takes place homolytically or heterolytically. Since there is electronegativity difference, so the atom with more electronegativity will drag the bonded electrons towards itself, and this process will be more favored in polar solvent. Which solvent? Polar solvent. Therefore what we are going to get here? So carbon with a, since this bond is broken, so we are going to get a positive charge on this. See why I have written these three lines. I hope you are already aware that three lines represent three bonds which are attached to the carbon. There may be hydrogens, like for our understanding you can take hydrogens. If I simply leave it like this, so what do you need to consider? So you should consider it as methyl groups, right? So you should consider as methyl groups. Three methyl groups may be attached for each of these bonds. Okay, so like this you can understand. Now see here around the carbon, how many bonds we have initially? 4 bonds. When we have 4 bonds, what is the hybridization we may expect? So here it is 4 sigma bonds are there. So here carbon is sp3 hybridized. Okay, sp3 hybridized, what is the geometry? It will be having tetrahedral geometry. Now by the loss of this bond, so what happens? The complete electrons are transferring towards like whatever the X atom is there, and it is removed as X minus. Therefore the carbon is getting positive charge. Now how many bonds are there around the carbon? Now we have only 3 bonds. So you need to understand that these 3 bonds will lie in same plane like this. Like see here I have just represented the carbon. Same thing you can consider here, the carbon. So with 3 bonds. See here carbon with 3 bonds. Here one bond, here one bond, here third bond, and positive charge over here. Okay, so now what is the hybridization of carbocation, you should say. So here since 3 bonds are there, see when there are 4 sigma bonds, so you should say it as 1s 3p, 4 hybrid orbitals are there. So out of those, what are those? S1 and P3s. So sp3 hybridization. If there is only 3 sigma bonds, since here we have only 3 sigma bonds, so you can consider one is S and the remaining 2 are P. So we can say sp2 hybridized. What is the hybridization of this particular carbon? So carbocation hybridization is sp2. So you should remember this. Okay. So now around the carbon, how many bonds are there? 3 bonds. We know each bond contains 2 electrons. Therefore, total how many electrons are there in the carbocation? There are 6 electrons. How many electrons are there? 6 electrons. All these 6 electrons are paired, right? They are already paired. So I can say carbocation is having diamagnetic nature. What is the magnetic nature? Diamagnetic nature. So it is diamagnetic. And see, now one positive charge means it has one vacant orbital, which we are going to represent it like this. Since it is vacant, I am saying, so which means vacant means now it is having only 6 electrons. In order to fulfill its octet, the carbon needs 2 more electrons, right? So therefore, this empty orbital is there to accept the incoming 2 electrons. So empty p orbital is waiting to accept incoming electrons. This is empty p2p orbital of that carbon. I hope this is also clear. Okay, since it is having empty p orbital and having only 6 electrons, it required 2 more electrons. Now what I am saying, it required 2 more electrons. So can we say it is electron deficient? Therefore it required 2 electrons, and therefore I am saying it as electron deficient. So carbocations are considered as electron deficient species. Okay, it requires 2 more electrons, therefore I can say it is electron deficient. Okay, I hope this is clear. Now carbocation is generated by different ways. So what are the different ways we have? A carbocation is formed by heterolytic cleavage of CX bond. So just we know, just here itself we have seen. Okay, and one more process also there. So there are many different processes depending upon the reaction, it may varies. So let us consider this is one example, and another example also you can take. See here, I just wanted to take an alkene like this. So to this alkene we have a pi bond over here. To this, if I add H plus, so what happens here? Yeah. So what happens here? So this H plus is an acid, so that will be abstracted by these pi electrons. Therefore, we are going to get something like this. So if I add on this first carbon, we are going to get something like this. Since these electrons are moving here, so this pi electron is now disconnected with which carbon? With the second carbon. So now second carbon lost this pi bonded electron. Therefore, since it is lost the electron, we should represent the positive charge on that particular carbon. So carbon with positive charge, we should call it as carbocation. Now this is our carbocation. I hope this is clear how the generation of carbocation takes place. One is heterolytic cleavage, and the other example is like by addition of acid to the alkenes will results to form a carbocation. So we are going to discuss about this in upcoming chemical reactions. You should aware of this now itself. Okay, same thing we are going to use in the hydrocarbon chapter. Okay, so what are the important points? Carbocation is electron deficient. Carbocation is electron deficient because it is having only 6 electrons and 2 more electrons are required, therefore act as electron deficient species and seeking for 2 electrons. Okay, you should remember this, and it is formed by unsymmetrical cleavage of bond or heterolytic cleavage, and the nature of the carbocation is diamagnetic. These are the important points you should keep in your mind. Okay, now one more thing I just wanted to discuss with you is so classification of carbocations. So how do we classify this? So it can be, the classification is also used for carbon anions and carbon like free radicals also. Let us see first what exactly classification is there for carbocations first. So here, if only carbon with hydrogens are there with some positive charge on this, so we should call it as methyl carbocation. So what is that? methyl carbocation. Now if we have CH2 and CH3 and here it is having positive, just compare the two things. Here all the three bonded atoms are hydrogens only in the first case. Okay, we can name it as like methyl carbocation. In the second case, if it comes, so here one side it is attached to the carbon and the remaining two sides are hydrogens. Now if the carbocation is attached at least with one carbon directly, those carbons are considered as primary carbocations. What we should call? So what we should call? Those are considered as primary carbocations. Okay. Now in some cases instead of having two hydrogens, only let us put one hydrogen and other remaining sides let us keep it with two carbon atoms. So here it may be carbon methyl group or anything, but it should be what? It should be a carbon directly attached to this carbocation whatever we are discussing. So if at least two carbons are attached, so we should call it as secondary carbocation or 2-degree carbocation. This should be called as primary carbocation. So this primary carbocation can also be represented with 1 degree. What is that? 1 degree. And this can be called as secondary carbocation or 2-degree carbocation. And the third one is over. The fourth one we can discuss about. See, just like compare each other. So in the initial case I have taken completely 3 atoms as hydrogens. In the second case I just replaced one of the hydrogen with one carbon group. And the third case I have replaced 2 hydrogen with 2 carbon groups. Okay. In the fourth case you can replace all 3 hydrogens with some carbon groups. So let us say here one carbon, here. So these are some carbon groups are attached now with some positive charge on it. So what we can say now, it is, since it is having 3 carbon atoms directly attached to the central carbocation, now you can call it as tertiary or 3-degree carbocation. So these are the 3 classifications we have: primary, secondary, tertiary carbocations. So how do we identify? Primary means it should contains at least one hydrogen is directly one carbon is directly attached. Secondary means at least 2 carbon atoms directly attached to that particular carbon. Not at least, it should be only 2 carbons directly attached. And in the case of 3-degree, so it should contain 3 carbon atoms directly attached to that whatever the carbocation we are discussing. I hope this is clear. Now similarly, when I say carbon ion, I mean in the next upcoming slide we need to discuss few more intermediates. What we have? Free radical and carbon anion we also have. So now in that case, if I say carbon anion, so in that case what you should say? Methyl group with the negative charge is there, means we should say methyl carbon ion. And if it is carbon like this and some carbon group is there here, since only one carbon is directly attached to this carbon ion, so what we should call it as primary carbon anion. So if it is 2 carbons are attached to this, directly attached to this negatively charged carbon, we should call it as secondary carbon anion. Similarly, when it comes to tertiary carbon ion, you can expect what it should be. So it should be surrounded by 3 carbons, or it should be connected with the 3 carbons directly, then we can say it is tertiary carbon anion. Okay. Similarly, you can compare for you can relate it for the free radicals also. So now that is about carbocation discussion. Now how many types we have? Primary, secondary, tertiary, and if there is no connection of carbon to it directly, we can say directly it is some methyl carbocation. So now here, just identify here how many carbons are attached here. Just identify in these. So before going to this discussion, just identify here. So I am just representing here one positive charge. I hope you know how to represent this bond line notation also. Here, this is the one, and here this is another one. So tell me what are the types of carbons we have. So let us say this is numbered 1, this is numbered 2, this is numbered 3. So now tell me to this whatever the carbon with positive, see here end I haven't represented any carbon, it means it is having methyl group like CH2 group. So now CH2 with one positive charge, what we should say? See, this carbon, it attached to one carbon directly, right? So it is attached only with the one carbon. So what we should call it as? Primary carbocation. And what about this carbon, this second one? So here the carbon which positive charge which we are representing is directly attached to this side one carbon. So this is one side and second side and third side. So we can say this as tertiary carbocation. Now since three carbons are attached, we should say 3 degree. Now here what about this carbon which is highlighted over here? So this is connected to this side, one carbon is there, it means it is methyl group. And what about this side? This is also some alkyl group is there now. So only 2 carbons are directly attached to this carbocation. So we can call it as secondary carbocation. I hope this is clear how to identify primary, secondary, tertiary carbocations. Now let us go into little more deeper here. Since see here to this particular carbon which I have highlighted over here will be having what? So here it is having a carbon with positive charge attached with 3, like R means any alkyl group you can consider. Okay, one alkyl group which means carbon only. This is also another carbon attached and this group is also present. Okay, so what we can say here? So we can say this is a tertiary carbocation because 3 alkyl groups are attached around it, this central carbon. Now we can say this is tertiary carbon. Okay, so here also if you go for this one, this is also tertiary carbocation. So now which is more stable here? We need to compare those things. So in order to make that, we need to know what are the names they have, and these are going to be discussed in the upcoming classes after studying electronic displacements. As of now I just provided this for as a extra information, so which we are going to discuss in the upcoming classes. If this carbocation, just compare here, just look here. Now this positive charge is in conjugation with this double bond. It means how these pi electrons and this positive charge is located here. So they are at alternate position now. So that alternate position is called conjugative position. Okay, so this can jump like this. It means we know here we have one empty orbital. To that empty orbital these electrons are transformed. Okay, so that is called allylic carbocation. What is that? Allylic position, or the compound can be considered as allylic carbocation. So this kind of interactions are there, means we can say allylic carbocation. Here I have mentioned it. See positive charge on one carbon which is alternate position with this double bond. So if it is like this, we should say allylic carbocation. Now when it comes to benzene ring, so we know this is a benzene ring or phenyl group we can say. So if we say look like this, it should be benzene. Now if it is something is attached here like this and positive charge over here, this should be considered as benzylic carbocation. Benzylic carbocation. Here if it is positive charge, you should say carbocation. If it is negative charge, benzylic carbene anion you should say. If it is radical, it means one dot, you should say benzylic free radical, like that you should say. Now here if you compare the third one, the name is vinylic carbocation. See, if double bonded carbon is directly having some positive charge on it, so we should call it as vinylic carbocation. So here also we have vinylic carbocation. Similarly, if benzene ring only directly having positive charge, I mean on the phenyl ring itself if we have positive charge, we should call it as arylic carbocation. If alkene is directly alkene carbon is directly having positive charge, means vinylic carbocation. If it is negative charge, vinylic carbene anion. If it is radical, vinylic carbon free radical. Here like this ring, we know if there is no charge, we should call it as benzene ring. If some disconnection is there, here they just removed some group here, so resulting species you should call it as phenyl group. What is that? Phenyl group. Phenyl group you should call. So now it is having some positive charge, you can say phenyl carbocation or aryl carbocation. I hope this is clear. Okay, if it is at benzylic this position, so we should call it as what we should call benzylic carbocation. Okay, I hope this is clear. So we will be discussing about these things in the upcoming lectures. As of Now that is very enough for us. Okay, now what is the exact stability order for this? So how do we decide the stability order? So just now we have seen primary, secondary, tertiary carbocations, right? So how do we arrange them in their stability order? So which carbocation is more stable? So during a course of reaction, so which type of carbocation is formed? How do we say that? Okay, it means the species which is more stable, that will be formed, right? So in order to know which is more stable, we need to study these three effects, three electronic effects. So which is nothing but inductive effect, hyperconjugation and resonance. So these, once if we are thorough with these things, so we can learn or we can enjoy our learning process from this particular GOC and also in other parts of organic chemistry. Okay, now let us discuss about carbene anion. See, carbocation is what? Electron deficient now. See, carbocation like this we have, right? So if we say this carbon is having 6 electrons only, electron deficient we call. Now if this particular carbon, see, let us say this is positive charge, here some I am adding some R groups, some G group here. So if the groups attached to this carbocation are electron releasing groups, just remember as of now electron releasing. In future I will tell you, in upcoming classes I will tell you what electron releasing groups. See, the name itself saying this group is releasing some electrons, therefore that particular group is called as electron releasing group or electron donating group. If these electron donating groups are there, see, since the carbon is electron deficient, carbocation is electron deficient, attached groups are electron releasing or donating. So what happens? So it requires electrons, these two groups are donating the electron, therefore this carbon is stabilized. I hope it is clear. Okay, there are two types of groups, one is electron releasing group and another one is electron withdrawing groups. Let us say these groups are G dash. If these G dash groups are electron withdrawing groups, what I am saying, they will withdraw the electrons towards itself. So what happens in that case? So since withdraw means what? They are dragging the electrons towards itself. Already carbon is having positive charge and these fellows are dragging the electrons towards itself. So what happens? That will destabilize the system. Now you just remember two lines. Electron releasing groups, ERG means what? Electron releasing groups increases stability of, just write these points as of now. In the future we are going to discuss exactly what electron releasing groups and electron withdrawing groups. So stability of, see, electron releasing groups increases stability of carbocation. So carbocation stability is increased by electron releasing group, and electron withdrawing groups, what they will do? They will destabilize, or I can write decreases, electron withdrawing groups decreases the stability of what? Stability of carbocation. So these two lines are very important while solving the questions. So as of now just remember these two lines. Okay, now let us move further for carbene anion, second intermediate. What is that? Carbene anion. So here if the carbon is, the central carbon is having negative charge which with 3 atoms or 3 groups attached to it. So we can say this can be called as carbene anion. Okay, so this is also formed. How it will be formed? It is also formed by heterolytic cleavage only, as we discussed. Okay, a carbon intermediate which contains 3 bond pair electrons. See here, let us say 3 R groups are present. It means 3 alkyl groups or some groups are present. So 3 bonds. See how many bonds are there? 3 bonds are there. Since we can say, therefore we can say bond pair, 3 bond pair electrons are present. It means how many bond pair electrons are there? So there are 3 pairs are there. So 3 bond pairs we can say, and a negative charge here. See here it is a negative charge. So therefore how many electrons are there around the bond, around this carbon? So 3 bond pair. So in each bond there are 2 electrons. Therefore 3 2 is 6 place 1 negative charge. Negative charge, 1 negative charge indicate 2 electrons. Therefore how many electrons are there? 6 plus 2, 8 electrons are there in the carbene anion. Okay, in carbocation only 6, but in carbene anion 8 electrons are there. So now this carbene ion will not be electron deficient. It has sufficient number of electrons, right? So we can say its octet is already fulfilled. It is having sufficient number of electrons. Now we can call this as Nucleophile, what is exactly nucleophile? We are going to discuss in the next class, I mean upcoming slides. So now let us look the structure, about the structure of this compound. So geometry and hybridization we are going to discuss. Hybridization of negatively charged carbon is sp3. So what is the hybridization of this carbon anion? So it is sp3. Okay, the carbon is sp3 hybridized carbon. Okay, the structure will be similar to ammonia. So we already discussed about ammonia structure in chemical bonding, right? So if you are not yet seen, so you can go and watch hybridization of compounds in chemical bonding 1, 2, 3. Already videos are uploaded, so you can go and watch there. Or I think you are already aware how this structure will be there, hybridization and structure of these compounds. See, the structure of this ammonia will be pyramidal like this. Okay, so the lone pair electrons are present here, so we can say this is a pyramidal geometry. So similar to that, the carbon anion is also having pyramidal structure. Okay, this is what is the structure? Trigonal pyramidal is the geometry of that particular compound. And see, carbon anion, ammonia are isoelectronic species having same structure. So this word also you should remember. Okay, and what is the magnetic nature? So carbon anions are, since all the electrons are paired up, so you can say this is diamagnetic. What is that? Diamagnetic. Okay, carbocations, carbon anions are diamagnetic. Again, see, formation of carbon anion, how this formation takes place. So carbocation formation we have seen. Now carbon anion will be seen. See, there are something called Grignard reagent. So as of now you just remember this, RMGX is called Grignard reagent. Okay, so now from this RMGX, see, we know magnesium belongs to second group element, which is a metal. So highly reactive metal, therefore it is having more electropositive nature, and we know alkyl group, R group means alkyl group, which is carbon, so which is non-metal. This is metal, this is non-metal. Now we know metals are electropositive and non-metals are electronegative comparatively. Therefore R group we are going to get a negative charge, and MgX, which is having some positive charge on it. So this is nothing but, now what we can say, so if it is some methyl group, so if R is some methyl group, we are going to get here as methyl carbon anion. So this is carbon anion only, na? So this is how we can say one thing, and the remaining thing is formation of carbon anion from carbonyl compounds. So if we are discussing about aldol condensation or some kind of reactions, I am going to explain this aldol condensation in the upcoming classes. So here, see, here this group is called carbonyl group. So when we treat these with some base, so what happens is the alpha, see, the carbon, here we have the adjacent carbons are called alpha carbons. Okay, so these alpha carbons, whatever the hydrogens are present over there, are acidic. So these hydrogens are alpha carbon hydrogens are more acidic. So when we treat with a base, that will be releasing one hydrogen from there, and we are going to get a negative charge on that species like this. Okay, so now see, carbon with negative charge, so we can call it as what? Carbon anion. So this is how we can generate carbon ions. Okay, so again classification what we have: primary, secondary, tertiary. I told you, if one carbon is attached to the negatively charged, see, if it is like this, so you should say methyl carbon anion. If it is like this, what we can say? Primary. How many carbons are directly attached? Primary, I mean one carbon is now, so one carbon is attached, so 1 degree, or you can say primary carbon anion. If two carbons attached, secondary or 2 degree carbon. If 3 carbons attached, 3 degree or tertiary carbon anion you can call. Okay, so now what about their stability? Since the carbon is already having negative charge here, so this negative charge means nothing but a high electron density is there on that particular carbon. So if there are some groups, if let us say here some groups are there, if these groups withdraw these electrons towards themselves, if this negative charge electron density is dragging towards this group, then what happens? The electron density on carbon is decreased, therefore the carbon anion will be stabilized. So what I can say, if the group is electron withdrawing group, then carbon anion stability increases. See, electron withdrawing groups decreases the electron density on the carbon of this carbon anion and make it more stable. So what we can say, electron withdrawing group containing carbon anions are highly stable. I hope the point is very clear. Now if the groups are electron releasing groups, already this carbon is having negative charge. If these groups are also electron releasing, what happens? See, already the carbon is having negative charge. If this is electron releasing group, what happens? Since see here already it is having negative charge, it is experiencing high electron density. If these fellows are also releasing the electrons, so if they are also releasing the electrons, what happens? The electron density on the carbon increases more and the system is getting destabilized because of high electron density on the small carbon atom. Therefore electron releasing groups will increases the electron density at the carbon and make it unstable and make the carbon ion unstable. I hope these two terms and two lines are very important and it is clear for you. Okay, the next one is free radical we need to study. Yeah, so what about free radical here? Free radicals are intermediates of carbon having odd electron. So how I told you now how they will getting generated. So by homolytic cleavage of bond, the generation of free radical takes place, we discussed. Now let us take one example. See, there are 4 bonds here. Let us say some group is there, some group, let us consider here some X group is there. So due to some reasons the bond breakage is taking homolytically, it means symmetrical fashion like this. So we are going to get carbon with one radical over here, or simply I can represent this like this. So one unpaired electron is there in the p orbital of carbon like this. Okay, now 3 bonds are attached. So how many electrons are there? We know each bond consists of 2 electrons. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 electrons are there in the 3 bond pairs means 6 electrons and one unpaired electron over here. So total how many electrons are there? 7 electrons are present. So one unpaired electron is there now. So now if the compound consists, if the species consists one unpaired electrons, we can call it as paramagnetic. What we can say? Paramagnetic species. So free radicals are paramagnetic species. Okay, now since it is having only 7 electrons, it requires one more electron to make it fulfilled. So we can say free radicals are also electron deficient. Okay, what we can say? Free radicals are also electron deficient. Okay, and we can also say there is no charge on it, so we can say it as neutral and has only 7 electrons in the valency and highly reactive, requires only 1 electron to complete its octet. Okay, and this is, since it is highly reactive, all the intermediates which we have studied are short lived and which we cannot be isolate them because they are very unstable. They just form and they will stay for a certain time during the course of reaction and they will be completely converting into some other forms, some stabilized forms. Okay, they are very short lived species. Okay, here also I told you the classification: methyl free radical if directly present on the carbon without any connection with the other carbons, and if it is connected, this carbon which is having radical connected with the other carbon, at least if it is connected to one carbon, we can say that as primary free radical. If it is connected to 2, we can say it as secondary. If it is connected to 3, we can say tertiary. I hope that is also clear. Okay, what is the magnetic nature here? It is paramagnetic. Okay, now one more thing you need to know here is, so I told you that here 3 bonds are there and one p orbital is there. So generally for carbon anion and carbocation hybridization is sp2. Fix this. For carbocation hybridization is sp2. For carbon anion I told you the hybridization is sp3. When it comes to free radical, so depending upon the attached groups to this, so hybridization may varies here. So when electron releasing groups are present, so it will be generally having sp2 hybridization. What I am saying, if the groups attached to this, if these groups are electron releasing groups, so most of the cases it will be sp2 hybridization. What is that? sp2 hybridization. So sp2 hybridization, you just remember. It is not all the time sp2. So most of the cases it will be sp2 only, but see sometimes the groups attached is strongly electron withdrawing groups. Let us say these 3 fluorines are attached here, and here we have one unpaired electron over here. So in this case CF3 radical, it is something like this, CF3 radical. Now the carbon is sp3 hybridized here. So you just remember, if this is electron strongly electron withdrawing group, in that case it will be having sp3 hybridization. Okay, so this is what I have mentioned over here. See, for carbocation always sp2 and for carbon anion always sp3. Okay, but for free radical it will be sp2 and sp3. Okay, the hybridization of carbon free radical was proposed after experimental verification of the structure of different radical. It was when electron releasing groups are placed, it has sp2, and when electron withdrawing groups are placed, it will be having sp3 hybridized. Okay, I hope these are the things are very clear to you. So let us see few more things. Okay, so now carbon. So what do we mean by carbon? We are going to see this. Okay, so now we need to study about carbons and then next nitrines, and we have to solve few more questions. So guys, so just take some break. So we are going to connect once again in the upcoming video for this continuation lecture. So just take some break and you can watch that video also in the upcoming lecture. So I am going to cover complete concepts regarding to these intermediates, and we can also solve some numericals, some PYQ questions, and that will boost your confidence. So thank you for watching. Have a nice day.